Shalom, may Yahweh bless each and every one of us. And the peace that we seek, truly, Yahweh God is that peace. And it's always good to say things that is relative to our understanding. We pursue the understanding of who we are as a people in the Western Hemisphere of North America. And we always are proving that we are the people through scriptures. We don't care about the philosophers. Our identity is embedded on the walls, in the writings of children of Israel, in the Torah. And this is where we focus our attention. Yahweh God is a God that has left so many things in place for us to ponder and come to a right decision, because there's so many counterfeit things. And the thing about it is there's some counterfeit things that are in existence that even if you see it with the physical eye, you would have to have the spiritual eye to really recognize and discern. But Yahweh says here, and he says it so beautifully in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 11. Because ye were glad, because you rejoice, O ye destroyers of my heritage. Because ye are grown fat as the heifer, as the grass, and bellow as the bulls. I'm reading Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 11. And they did boast and was glad. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, said Yahweh. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. And we can see that Yahweh God has dealt with the children of Israel in such a way where it is really a very terrible thing to rejoice or say negative things. Is this like when Miriam made a statement concerning Moses? It displeased Yahweh when the nations talk against us. Even as Micah chapter 7 verse 8, Yahweh even, he says things to warn them that this is not the proper attitude to take against the children of Israel. Even when Paul in the book of Romans understood how the Romans felt about when Jerusalem had been thrown to the ground, Paul corrected them and told them something in the book of Romans chapter 11. But let us read Micah chapter 7 verse 8. What does it say? Okay.
It says, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, Yahweh shall be a light unto me.
See, so we're warning them. And even Paul in Romans chapter 11 verse 25, he warns the Romans. He said, don't think like that. That's not the proper way of thinking. That what does it say?
Romans what?
Chapter 11 verse 25.
Right. That ye shall be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits. That blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
That's what I'm saying. It's like these we search within the counterfeit to find that which is relative to our own identity. And we search even in the book of the gospel to find the things that will render a truth to us. We seek diligently with caution, reading the physical, but asking Yahweh to reveal the truth to us so that we will not fall by the wayside in our understanding. Because it's so easy to do that. It's so easy to be misguided. But when the Ruach of Yah is with you, He guides you, and He makes sure that when you set your heart in keeping of the law of the Torah, He makes sure that you don't stumble by the wayside in foolishness. You know, He makes sure that when you read the prophecy, when you read the from Genesis to Deuteronomy and the history, He shows you a correlation by which it makes sense. When we read St. Luke chapter 21, when we read chapter 21, verse 24, I mean, we seek diligently to make sense of the fraudulent material within the counterfeit. So it might make sense to us, and we utilize what they did not camouflage but left because they didn't know what to take out. Let us read what it says in St. Luke chapter 21 verse 24.
It says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down from the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled."
So see, you know, when we look, we say those that seek to be and take our place, we say who was trodden down and dispersed through all nations as a captive. You understand what I'm saying? That they would be as a captive, as into all nations of the earth. And what? Jerusalem shall be trodden underfoot by the Gentile. Who was a Gentile? Anyone that wasn't an Israelite. Because they say they're Jews. We say there's 11 other tribes. Where are the 11 other tribes? We look to make sense of the material, and it makes sense when we look at our own history and say, you know, that's me, because I was trodden down, and my history and the people of my people was sent into all nations of the world. When I look, it identifies me clearly. And you understand, because you cannot send a people into captivity among people that look like them unless there is a clear distinction between them. There was a clear distinction between us and our enemy. Even when those that had the same pigmentation, what did they do? They used tribal marks to make sure. Why? Because in our law, we wouldn't mark ourselves. They put it in their face. They put it on certain parts of their body. We didn't do that. Is it possible that some of them came and was captured? Of course. But we're talking about a whole nation that was removed from a particular location and dispersed someplace else. That's why it says, shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down underfoot. And Yahweh takes it further when he said, these 12 sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentile, and into any city of Samaria, enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's in St. Matthew's chapter 10, verse 5. He said that the Israel would be lost. He didn't say what? Judah. Israel is the complete family. You understand? He said all of them would be lost. He didn't say Judah would be lost. He said Israel, and Israel is the complete of the 12. He said go after the lost house, and he called them sheep. Why? No, nothing is too much helpless than a sheep. A sheep is helpless. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? And even in Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 6, he said, my people have been what? Lost sheep. To be easily victimized. To be easily led astray. To miss their resting place. That all will rejoice at their falling. No one would ever believe, but we left a message for them. But they didn't hear it. How could they hear? We left a message. What was that message? You just read it. We left a clear and pleasant message for them. In telling them something, what did we say? What's that message that we left them? Let me read it to you. He said, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. We told him, he said, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, Yahweh shall be light unto me. What we're doing here is our light. Because we're in darkness if we don't have that light. We said, Yahweh shall be a light unto me. That's your light. You have no other destiny but in Yah. And what Yahweh expected of you was to keep the Torah. That's your total commitment. Just like your heart beats and you gotta breathe, you have to live and breathe Torah. That's your life. You don't have to worry about nobody else. You don't even have to worry about the counterfeit. You have to worry about what you gotta do. That's important. You don't have to worry about your wife, your children, your enemy, your friend, your associate. You don't have to worry about that. Because he said, though Job, Noah, and Daniel be in the city, only by what? Your righteousness. You can't save, no one can save me. I can't save you, but the Torah can save us all. That's why he says, the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, except the righteous put their hands to what? Iniquity. You have to be clean. And the remnant of Israel shall not do any iniquity, nor shall any lies be found in their mouth. For life and death is in the power of the tongue. So why would you speak vulgar language to profane the temple, which temple you are, where the Ruach of Yah dwells in you? And the words that come out of your mouth must be pure words, so that you may have access to power, that your God will hear you. So you take precaution in the measurement of your words, of what comes out of your mouth, so that you might change your destiny and the destiny of this planet, of the people. You hold by keeping the law, the direction of this planet. All of this is about you. We read it where it says that these things were built for Israel. Go and read in the Apocrypha. He told you the world was made for Israel. All that you see here, all that has been, Yahweh God has a greater calling for you, Israel. That's why he punished you severely. Because your gift was so great that he wanted you to acknowledge in sincerity to keep. He didn't give you these laws because he was playing a game. He gave you these laws because he loved you. You understand what I'm saying? And these things ought to be understood. He didn't give you these things because he was playing, because he was trying to show off. He gave it to you because he loved you. Yahweh God got a great love for his children Israel. Israel must have a greater love for his God. You understand what I'm saying? And it's true. We must show forth that love back. Because Yahweh God wants it and he deserves it from us. And we should be willing wholeheartedly to give it to him sincere, with all sincerity. See, this has to be taught correctly, or else it doesn't have the meaning. This is nothing to play with. This is everything. It belongs to you. This is yours. And you should make every effort to keep it. Yahweh God did not give this to you to be a burden. He gave you this so it would lift the burden. See, it only becomes a burden when you don't understand its true purpose in your life. And Yahweh God wants you to understand the true purpose of this. And he wants you to embrace it with all your mind, with all your body, with all your might. These are the things that Yahweh wants for his children. All that we could have and ever have. Because he says that what? That we are one with him. And that's a beautiful statement coming out of the mouth of Yahweh God. Yahweh God loves us. These things is so beautiful. And I say it with the most sincerest part. Why? Because I want you to take hold of it. You have to take hold. Nobody can make you. You have to see in your heart that the only thing that really matters It doesn't mean you can't function in the world. It means you know how to function in the world. You know how to make things, because is nobody going to help us, because nobody has to. We can help ourselves, and that's a fact. Why? Because we have the word of Yahweh. Yahweh God says some beautiful things. Because ye were glad, because they were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of my heritage. Who was the heritage of Yahweh? You understand what I'm saying? Who was? If we go into Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19 will tell you exactly. See, it's not this to say it, but when you can read it. That's why I'm saying we must go into the counterfeit. The things that they think that they've taken from us, they've made it so sure. Isaiah 19:25, what does it say?
Yahweh of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Syria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my heritage.
You see? Inheritance. So Israel is the inheritance of our God Yahweh. Yahweh has said this, that we go in Jeremiah, we will see even Jeremiah chapter 12. Yahweh God even tells us about the inheritance. It says, Jeremiah chapter 12, it says, let's go to verse 9.
Mine is to me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble, all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
See, they come to devour. My heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me, therefore I hate it. We are the inheritance, and we became a nuisance to Yahweh. And all the beasts, it said, my inheritance is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. When I tell you they came to devour, it was no joke. I mean a total slaughter. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, when they came to deal with us, it was a vicious. Why? Because that which we needed to help us wasn't coming to help us, because we turned our back. We literally did not obey our God. And therefore, Yahweh said, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you want Yahweh to help you, and Yahweh has laid down your defense, then to do anything else different is only going to bring you the greatest disappointment. And Yahweh put us in the hands of some miserable people. And when we get out of this, and we can only get out by Yahweh's help, we ain't going to leave. And is Yahweh helping us? Of course. Look at the weather. That's right. Look at this weather. This is bringing doubt of their rulership and control. And we should understand that, look up, for the day of our redemption is at hand. And Yahweh God is going to deliver us. This has nothing to do with men. Okay? Because all of this, you must read this book. This is the Sabbath day. Sit down and read. Turn the pages. Give this time to your God, to the verification of the truth. This truth is truth. There's no greater truth for you, O Israel. And this is what I've done continuously I've opened up the book to show you that this book is our book. And I'm proud of it because there's nothing that I could give that is more truthful than the word of Yahweh. And it is an honor because there are people that read out of this book and they distort it completely. And Yahweh gonna deal with them for doing that. You know, you're not supposed to do that. You know, you can't open up Yahweh's book. This is Yah's book. And you're going to start lying to the people. Woe be unto you. You understand? That is not a nice thing to do. And Yahweh God is not pleased. You understand? You can't do it. If you're going to come with the book, then come with the book and read and tell the things that is in the book. So we know our inheritance is oppressed. We know that. We know that they take liberties of doing evil towards us. We know that. And we know that Yahweh God is going to deal with them after they have dealt with us. You understand what I'm saying? So when we read the book of Obadiah, which is relative, the smallest book, but yet still its strength makes you aware. And as Yahweh know that the words that are in the earth is slowly fading away. It's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to hear these words. There's going to come a time where you won't hear. If you're fortunate to be brought up in a home where you can hear these words to inspire you, where Yahweh God will set your heart to where you could hear it. Literally hear the absolute truth. And I'm saying that may Yahweh bless greater men to come and to teach out of this great and wonderful book that is a Tanakh that they call a Bible. Because the things in here is so precious. Because as it say, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word. And we live by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh God. We have to realize Yahweh God don't have to help us because he gave us all the help. See, when he said in Hosea chapter 8, turn to Hosea chapter 8. And I want you to read this and understand that when you got something and you're trying to look for what you got, you're not going to find it. But turn to Hosea chapter 8, verse 12. What does it say? Read it.
To him the great things of my Lord, but they were counted as a strange thing.
Yeah, see? But what the important thing, he said, I have written to him the great things of my Torah. But what did they do? They counted these things to be straight. What is that? Why would? Well, Moses was in there. They couldn't eat pork because they was in the desert. You understand? And it had nothing to do with Moses. That Yahweh gave you a law. They would make all types of different excuses. Everything that Yahweh gave you, your dietary law, there was nothing greater. This was Yahweh giving you. You're one with him. He wouldn't give you anything inferior. That's right. If we want to make it in life, we got to put this first. Yahweh ain't going to forget us. When we forget him, then we're forgotten. Why? Because we're one with him in Torah. If you're a part of something and you sever yourself from what you're a part of, then you become as nothing, because what makes you what you are is what you are a part of. You are a part of Israel. People are proud of their heritage. You can see it They will put on their garments. They got a prayer on their holidays. They praying all out in the street, bowing down because they're proud of being Muslims. You see them in the summer, they wrapped up, they're proud of wearing their garment of identity. They want to identify with who they are because it makes them something. They're no longer scattered or fragmented. And what the black American he needs to understand what belongs to him. That's more important. If he is whatever he is, if he understands that he's that, to do that is his freedom. That's why Elijah Muhammad told him, he said, the nation of Islam. Now these people weren't no Arabs, but he was gonna give them or make them or give them an awareness that they had become a nation, something that nobody else had access to. Why? Because it